nice run to close out the first half, but that only got it down to 17. Did you think that's kind of where it started? And then what happened there in the third quarter to turn it all around?
Yeah, I mean, it was good to close the half and just make it a little more of a manageable deficit. And but I just felt like the intensity picked up in the second half. The defense was much better. We held them to, I think, 40 points in the second half. So, they were amazing early on. They were hitting everything, and we were a little scattered. We kind of had a different game plan tonight than normal, and we're still putting some things together a little bit out there during the first quarter, and I thought we did a much better job of executing defensively in the second half.
Steve, how do you think they executed the defense on Dame? It felt like you decided to just take him out.
Yeah,
I don't think you guys don't do that often. What did you think of the execution of that?
Well, I mean, we know all too well what Dame can do, when he gets rolling. So that was the plan from the beginning. Like, let's try to take him out. And the biggest thing was not fouling him. That's why I was losing my mind on those 2 foul calls early in the game. I didn't think we fouled him, but he was driving to the rim and drew 2 fouls, I think. And he shot 16 free throws last time we played them, and that was the difference. So tonight he had 5 early, and we didn't foul him at all in the second half. So that was key. And we just, you just make a decision. You're just going to make somebody else make a shot instead of him, and that's pretty much as simple as it gets.
Steve, Draymond was plus 26. How would you assess his impact on the game tonight?
Plus 26 says it better than I can say it.
I mean, 12 rebounds, I think 9 assists, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals. Just how important was it to have him back tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge, especially with the game plan. I mean, Draymond is as good as anybody I've ever seen executing the stuff we were doing tonight. It's just basically becomes a zone on the backside of the play. If you're going to double Dame, at half court or blitz him or whatever, you have to have somebody like Draymond or Loon on the backside, or both of them, to navigate what's happening, because it's basically 4-on-3. And I thought they executed beautifully there, and that's why I left the starters out there for as long as I did to start the third quarter.
I mean, you've mentioned kind of the complexity to your game plan tonight. Do you think you'll want to, I know you're not playing Lillard on a nightly basis, but adding more complexity into your defenses moving forward, do you think that's a way that you guys can be more effective?
Yeah, I mean, I told the players in our walkthrough that this is a great game for us, because this is kind of what the playoffs are about. You got to figure out your opponent and maybe throw something different at them, and then have the poise to stay with it. It's really easy if you do what we did tonight and take the ball out of Dame's hands and they hit like 4 or 5 threes right away. It's really easy to sort of, say this isn't going to work. But you just have to remember the forest for the trees. You just got to remember 48 minutes. Let's keep at it, but do it a little bit better, and trust that what we're trying to do will work. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But the main thing is that the team feels it and goes through that process, because we got a lot of young guys who haven't been through it before.
You mentioned the word poise, and that's something that we've talked a lot about throughout the season. A lot of the time it's been the lack of poise, but have there been some tangible things that you can see or feel that has been shifting, especially these last 2 games to close out that game the other night and then make up this big comeback tonight that you guys didn't have earlier on? It
just feels like we're coming together. It feels like there's some chemistry, some energy that's forming. We've been battling all season and without Steph and Wiggs for so much of the season. And, these guys have done a great job of just keeping our heads above water. And I think we can feel the finish line. We know Steph's going to be back before too long. Hopefully Wiggs, hopefully Gary. So, we've got reinforcements coming. And in the meantime, these guys are doing a hell of a job. So it feels like there's some grit and some toughness, and the guys are really coming together. It's fun to watch.
Steve, with Kuminga, he's been tonight so steady and just showing you signs. I know you've said, but that dunk where he went down the middle through two guys, and it was pretty loud in here. I mean, how much of a lift did he give you? In the second half?
Yeah, JK was great. We asked him to guard Lillard quite a bit during the game, and then I thought he made a couple of beautiful cuts to the basket, and that's what we're really trying to get him to focus on. I think JP threw him a pass over the top, and he got a layup and a foul. That was a big play in the game, and that's the kind of play we need more from him, just the dives and understanding what that dive does, not just maybe getting him a bucket, but pulling the defense in so that we can get somebody open on the other side of the floor. So JK's, he's learning every single day, and he's doing a good job of just working and staying with it. I thought he was really good tonight.
Steve, Jordan drove to the basket pretty consistently tonight. What do you think about his game as far as that goes?
Yeah, I mean, I thought his aggressiveness was really important for us. They early in the game, it was all jumpers for us, and they played great defense. They were switching everything. We really didn't get much at the rim, and then I thought Jordan attacking, late in the half and then into the second half was really important in terms of setting a tone.
Steve, over here, you allowed 17 points in the fourth quarter the other night, and as you noted, just 40 in the second half tonight. What has caused that urgency, that intensity to rise, and how much did the box and one or whatever you did on Dame tonight sort of help keep your players engaged and I guess focused on that?
I don't know. I mean, it's I don't think it was the scheme as much as it was just the energy. We ran the same stuff in the first half and didn't work very well. So whatever you run, the guys have to bring energy and alertness and grit. And that's what we saw the whole second half, just like the other night. So that's why I said I'm really pleased with what seems to be happening with the group coming together and kind of gutting out some wins. It's exciting.
Maybe along those lines with the box and one, what did you think about Dante's effort tonight, especially two-way shadowing Dame, but then coming up with some really timely buckets? Yeah,
he had some huge buckets and made big plays for us, but he's been doing that all year. He's just having a spectacular season. I'm so happy for him. Last year was tough with the injuries, and he got traded and didn't know where he was going to end up, and it's been a perfect spot for him and a perfect fit for us. So he's bringing it every single night. It's exciting watching him.
Steve, you mentioned a couple nights ago you liked the Kuminga Lamb combo.
Yeah.
You used it a lot tonight. What is it about those two playing together that helps seemingly both of them?
Well, Lamb is a 0.5 player. I mean, when the ball hits his hands, he either dribbles, passes, or shoots immediately because he recognizes what's happening on the floor. And so he found JK on that I think JK was getting fronted, and you saw Lamb flash to the bucket, and he knows that stuff. It's instinctive for him. And so he helps JK get some easy buckets, and then they're both very versatile defensively, and so they both fit in a switching type of defense. So they're both really strong. It's one of the things I think the modern NBA, you want as many guys who can stand up to different players over and over again, because you're going to have to guard in space, and you can't let guys run right through you. And both guys really do a good job holding people up defensively.
Steve, about that 41-point first quarter you guys gave up, you called a couple of timeouts. What was the point, and what was it you wanted to get across to the guys in regrouping?
I think we messed up a couple coverages, and we weren't in sync defensively. So the quick timeouts were just to help us get organized. And I thought our staff did a great job at halftime making adjustments. We had we kind of cut down the game plan a little bit, simplified it in the second half, and that made a difference. But I have such a great staff, and we got guys who are really all over, the adjustments that need to be made, and they communicated that well to the group, and everybody executed. It was fun.
Steve, as you've mentioned a few times this year, defense was kind of the bigger concern, the biggest difference really between last year. You guys ranked so high last year, not as much this year. how much, how important or essential, I guess, is that down this home stretch, and how confident are you that you can sustain this kind of defensive
Yeah,
effort?
it's everything. I mean, you don't win in the playoffs unless you're really good defensively. And in our case, we may not get to the playoffs unless we're really good defensively. So it's a good sign that we're making some strides.